Hey guys, Mitch here with a brutally honest review of the Transcribe Anywhere course. I just want to start by saying that most Transcribe Anywhere reviews online are not very helpful because they're made by people who have never even spent 1 minute inside of the course. How are these people supposed to help you decide if this course is right for you or not, or if it's even any good? That's why in my Transcribe Anywhere review, I've decided to take a super deep dive into both courses, both the general transcription and the legal transcription course. And instead of just restating basic information that you can find anywhere online, like in other reviews, I'm going to give you an actual sneak peek and inside look at what the course actually looks like and what my perceptions and my likes and dislikes of the course were as I went through the entire course. My hope is that this information will help you make the most informed decision possible about whether you want to invest in it or not. That said, this obviously took me forever to do. So if you find this review useful and do decide to buy, I'd really appreciate it if you'd use my affiliate link down in the description below. Doing so earns me a small commission at no extra charge to you, and it's a great way to say thanks for your time, Mitch. Alright, so let's jump in. Now, for the sake of time of this video, I cover everything pretty quickly here, at least I'm going to try to. And for more insights and more opinions that I have about the course, I made an even more detailed review, a written review, and so I'll link to that down below if you want more information. All right, let's start with the general transcription course, and then we'll move into the legal transcription course. Now, for both of these courses, it's important to know that this isn't some super fancy bells and whistles course, online course, like some other courses you see online. This is more of like, I'd say, more like a technical, online technical school course that maybe you take at a university that trains you for a certain career. So imagine things like textbooks and quizzes and midterm exams and final exams and things like that. This is an actual certification course, so you have to actually pass the exam at the end to get your certification. And according to their website, it is the only course that is certified by the AAERT, which I always forget what that stands for, and that is American Association of Electronic Reporters and Transcribers. Alrighty, so let's get into the modules. So this is how the main dashboard looks like. I have both of the courses here. The top line is general transcription and the bottom line is the legal transcription. And so inside of these, we'll start with modules 1 and 2. I'll give you a quick run through. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to open up all the units and all the modules because that would just give away all her content for free, and I don't think she would like that. And so I'll show you the introduction to, just to kind of get an idea of what it's like. But basically, this is the first and second modules here. And inside each unit, it looks like this. There's a lot of text here, and some of them have videos in there showing you how to set things up on your computer. There's some audio files, a bunch of audio files to do practice and things like that. But it is a lot of text and a lot of reading. You can kind of compare it to in a university class having a textbook and reading through the text, but it's all very detailed and very good information. Okay, so I'll try to give an overview of all the different units here. The first is laying the foundation, and basically she covers a bunch of different things you probably have never even thought of when it comes to transcription, kind of overviewing the struggles and challenges that transcriptionists face on a regular basis. Before I took this course, I had no idea whatsoever. I thought that transcription, oh, if you can type fast and you're good at listening, then you'll be fine. It's pretty easy, but really there's a lot more to it. Just some examples, like the difference in spellings between American and British and Canadian English. When people say all the time, like what I'm doing, and you have to write down what they're saying, whether to include it, whether not to. All the punctuation when we speak, it's a lot different than when we write, and so you have to be a super expert and a super stickler on punctuation to make sure everything makes sense without changing the meaning. How to transcribe stuttering. There's just tons of different things that normally you wouldn't think of until you actually get into the job and get doing it. And so she gives all her tips and tricks for handling all those things, and so it's super valuable. She also covers the equipment that you need, which is surprisingly little and not that much of an investment. She shows how expensive doesn't always mean better, and so this is very valuable for saving money as well. And then we move on to all of the grammar stuff. We go all the way back to grammar school, and this will be either really easy for you or super hard for you because most people haven't studied this stuff for years and years and years, and it's pretty tedious and pretty technical, and you'll feel like you're in grade school again, but it's really important to know to be able to punctuate well and to be able to be a successful transcriptionist. You need to know all this as your foundation. And so this will probably take most people a lot of time to relearn all of these things. But if you did it when you're in 5th grade, you can do it again now. The cool thing about this is she includes like worksheets and quizzes and those types of things to make sure that you're actually remembering and learning the stuff, and it's not just going in one year and not the other and you're wasting time, because sometimes with some of the stuff it's easy to zone out, but you really need to learn it to be able to be effective. And so those are the first 2 modules, and let's move through the other ones a little bit faster because I don't want this video to be super duper long. Basically, module 3 is all about different shortcuts and things that'll save you time and make you more efficient and make you work faster, cut down your work time, and really in this business of transcription, time is money, and if you can cut your work time in half, you essentially double what you can earn as your income. And so all of these are super, super important to get up and running and get earning as much as possible. And then module 4 is a bunch of different practice and a bunch of different situations. And the cool thing about this module, which I'll touch on in a little bit, is that compared to maybe other transcription courses where the course creator just makes up sample things to transcribe and she reads them and creates them herself, which isn't really realistic. These are actual transcription assignments that Janet, the course creator, had. And the idea here is to show you different challenges that you'll have when you're listening to different audios. And so there's one about a poor audio quality and you have to figure out how to transcribe it. There's another one with people with heavy accents. There's another one where you have to transcribe strict verbatim, which you'll learn about exactly what that is if you don't know what that is. Another one where there's multiple speakers going at the same time, and so you're actually transcribing real life situations that you do on the job, because on the job it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be problems with the audio and different difficulties like that where you have to do extra research and look up a street name or something. And so these prepare you for all of those different situations that you'd have in real life transcription world. And after that, we get to module 5, which is the final exam. Dun, dun, dun. The final exam is 2 different parts. The first covers all of the different grammar and different parts of speech and vocabulary and all those things that you learned that you need as a foundation. And if you pass that, then you move on to the second part, which is an actual transcription assignment. So here it shows the instructions for the final exam and how to do everything, and they actually grade this with real humans, and you have to pass it in order to continue. And so you can't just blast through this entire course and expect to pass the final exam. It actually requires a ton of practice. And so if you just look at it, the course itself looks pretty short if we just look at it quickly like what we just did. But each of those units has practice assignments that you can do multiple times. You actually have to build these skills to be a successful transcriptionist and to pass the exam and get your credentials and everything. And then after you pass your final exam, that unlocks another additional extra module where they teach you all about how to run your freelance transcription business, how to set things up, how to market yourself, how to find different clients, how to raise your rates, how to set your rates. All those different things are covered in that section. But you have to pass the final exam in order to unlock it. And in addition to the regular course material, you also get access to the Facebook group, which is right up here. And a lot of courses have Facebook groups included, and most aren't really that helpful. But this Facebook group surprised me because it's super active and people are super supportive of each other. And as you can see here, there's 3,800 people in the group right now, and there's been 77 posts in the past month, so that's over 2 per day about. And I was poking around in the Facebook group, and people post questions, and there's several comments and answers within 24 hours usually. I have some different screenshots and things that I took of the Facebook group. I'm not going to show them here, but if you want to see them, if you're interested, I have them in the written guide that I linked to below, the written review. And so this Facebook group is actually pretty handy, and Janet is in there, and she has another admin in there answering questions. And so you get you can get advice and get your questions answered right from the experts. Another big thing of the course and a thing that they really promote is to get feedback from them, because this isn't easy to learn these things and to figure these things out. And so if you're ever doing the practice assignments or the exams or anything like that, and you're just not getting it, or you're getting things wrong and you don't know why, you can email them anytime you want, and they'll look into it for you and they'll give you corrections and feedback, and they really want to see you succeed. And so that's super helpful. They don't just leave you there and throw you to the wolves. They're there to help you, just like a regular university class that you take online. If you have questions, you can email the professor, and the professor will help you out. All right, so now that we did the general course, let me quickly cover the legal course, because I know some of you will probably be interested in that. And so basically, what the legal course is, it covers a lot or most of the general transcription course, all of those basics and the foundational stuff and all of those things. There are a couple things that aren't in the legal course that are in the general course, things that you wouldn't need as a legal transcriptionist. But most of the basics are covered in the legal transcription. And because of that, I would say if you do take the legal transcription course and you later decide you want to do general transcription, you probably know enough to be able to figure it out by yourself with some little extra research and things like that. But the reverse scenario isn't true. If you took the general course, you wouldn't be able to just do a little bit of research and be able to become a legal transcriptionist, because it's way more in depth and there's a bunch of nuances and different things. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, as you can see, the legal transcription course is way longer. It has 13 modules instead of 5. Well, actually 6 after you unlock the last one. And so I'm not going to get into super nitty-gritties on all of these, but basically module 1 through 4 covers all the foundation materials and is pretty similar to the general transcription course, module 1 through 4. It covers all the basic material, but it covers it in a way that's specific to legal transcriptionists. So there's more nuances and more things that you need to know. There's more terminology and abbreviations and list of things that you need to memorize and be aware of. So then let's quickly open up the rest of these modules to take a look-see. Since there are so many different types of work you can do in legal transcription, different types of projects, there are tons of different practice assignments and different things. In this module, for example, you do memos and letters and depositions and consultations and deeds, and you learn how to transcribe all of these different types of documents, the proper way to do it, as well as different tips and tricks and things you need to look out for when you're doing those types of documents. Then moving on, module 6 covers the entire legal process. This isn't so much about transcription, but you have to understand how the entire legal process works. And there's so many different steps, I had no idea. Different proceedings and different meetings and all these different things that you need to know how the whole system works in order to be a transcriptionist. And so that covers everything you need to know about the process. Module 7 covers a bunch of different forms and templates that you need to know how to use and be aware of. And module 8 is a bunch of different practice assignments for different court proceedings. Now, again, we're running through this super fast, but in reality, each module is probably going to take you at least a day to do and to practice, and depending on what your skills are, you might need to practice it several times. And so overall, this course, it's going to take a while to get through and to work through, because you're mastering a new skill. All right, and then the last modules are different types of transcription. Like, for example, this is for different law enforcement. Law enforcement transcription, I imagine, is very interesting because you get to hear all the crimes and interviews and all those things. But there's also some unique challenges with audio recordings and things like that. And so here she gives her tips and tricks for transcribing those documents, as well as more practice assignments. Then module 11, as a legal transcriptionist, you don't only do law enforcement stuff and court proceedings and all those, but you can also do types of transcription that's outside of like the normal legal process. For example, different conferences that lawyers have and they want it transcribed what's said in the conferences, or different legal meetings that they have, or even working with insurance companies and things like that. Every different type of work has its specific instructions and challenges, and so that's why she covers every single different thing individually, so you could practice and be prepared for any type of legal work that they throw at you. And wrapping up, module 12 is about time coding and when you would use it and how you would do it. And module 13 is a wrap up with a bunch of different resources that will help you once you do graduate and pass your exam. and the final exam. Again, the first part is about all the terminology that you need to know and about the legal process and about all the grammar and all of those types of things. And then part two, you have to do an actual like practical assignment, and it's transcribing like a divorce proceeding. And so that's pretty interesting. And again, a lot of these practice assignments through the whole thing, some of them are actually pretty interesting to do. Like I said earlier, the reading is kind of dry to have to read through everything that like that. But the practical assignments, some of them are pretty interesting. For example, some of them are about different celebrity cases, like a Justin Bieber case, and so those are kind of fun to do. All right, so now that we covered everything that's in the course, I want to go through my likes and dislikes because obviously you can't really see inside the units, and so you're probably more interested in my dislikes, and so I'm going to start with my likes. My first like is that it's super detailed, like it literally includes everything you could possibly imagine and everything that you need to be able to be a successful transcriptionist. It's all in there. It's long, but it's all there. Second, it's accredited by the AAERT, and from what their website says, it's the only online course that's accredited by the AAERT. And so it's just not some random course that some random lady put up on the internet. It's actually a legit certification training program. I like that there's practice from real clients instead of made up clients, like I mentioned earlier. I thought all of the insider tips that she gives, like getting those insider tips and tricks from a professional who's been doing it for years and years, that can save you time and money. I think those are super useful to streamline and optimize your process. Without those tips, if you're just starting from scratch without any help or anything like that, it would literally take years to learn all those things. And so it shaves a ton off of your learning curve so you can start earning more faster. I liked that she gives options on how to start with all your equipment as cheap as possible. It's really not much of an investment to get started. There's obviously upgrades that you can do once you start earning money, but it's cool how she gives different options for people who just want to take the course and don't want to invest a ton of money before they even get their certification. And so I thought that was pretty helpful. And lastly, it's really cool that they not only teach you how to learn the skill of transcription, but they also teach you how to build your business and land clients and actually start earning money from it. Now that said, now we're going to move to the dislikes, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you. It is awesome info, that's for sure, but it's kind of dry the way it's presented. There's videos sprinkled in here and there, but it's mostly just reading through huge, long lines of text to the point where it's almost overwhelming for people like me and maybe other people in my generation who are used to constantly being engaged by different multimedia and videos and images and all those things. Sometimes when you see those big, huge pages of text, it just seems like, oh, I have to read all that. But then again, that could just be my problem. Now, that said, on the other hand, since each of these units will probably take a while to get through because you have to stop and practice and study and all those things, it may not seem that bad if you're just doing one unit at a time. But I took the entire course as fast as possible, obviously, and so it was a lot of reading for me. My second gripe that kind of goes along those same lines is because it's mostly all text, sometimes she'll try to describe a concept or something, and it's a little bit difficult to imagine it in your mind, and it would be way easier if there was just an image or something like that to describe what she's trying to explain. So sometimes you might not understand a concept completely until you get into the actual practice assignments and things like that. But I think that the course could be a lot better if she would just add in some different graphics that are interesting or different things to break up all the text. And the last con, which honestly isn't really even a con, it depends on how you look at it, and that is the price. So you might look at the price and think, wow, this is super expensive, especially if it's just for a bunch of text, like a glorified textbook with some teacher support and things like that. That seems like a lot. But I personally think that's kind of a naive way to look at it. A better way to look at it would be to think that this is akin to taking some kind of technical program or something at a university, and imagine how much that would cost. It's literally training you how to start a lifelong career, and for that, it's a bargain. I mean, would you pay $700 or $800 for a course at a university that taught you how to build a business where you could earn thousands of dollars per month? Seems like a good investment. Or would it be worth it to you if it meant saving 100 or 200 hours of floundering around trying to puzzle piece things together by yourself? I hope it would. at least if you value your time at more than a couple bucks per hour. Lastly, the question on if it's worth it or not comes down to if you take advantage of everything that's offered. If you're just gonna go through the course super quick and read through everything and not ask any questions and then give up because you didn't pass the exam, obviously it's not going to be worth it. But she literally is making herself an expert with tons of experience accessible to all her students, and you can ask her any questions you have. And normally, if you wanted mentoring or a consult with an expert in their field, people charge hundreds of dollars per hour, and you have access to her for free as much as you want. So if you take advantage of all the help that she's offering, it's really invaluable. In the end, this is a program for people who are willing to work hard to start a new career. It's not for people who want a career handed to them and aren't willing to put in hours of hard work and study and practice. So again, guys, I hope you found this valuable. It took me quite a bit to put together, and so if you do decide it's for you, I'd love and be very appreciative if you bought through my affiliate link in the description below. If you do, thanks in advance. If you don't, I wish you the best of luck, and I really do hope you enjoy the program. I hope you found this valuable, and I will see you in the next one. See you guys. Bye-bye.